Thanks, Michael. Um, Good morning. I'm going to present one of my case study, part of my PhD thesis. It's a broad-scale reconfiguration of production landscape for multiple ecosystem goods and services. So we have already talked about what ecosystem services are, the benefit people obtain from ecosystem. So I'll skip that, and we'll already cover this slide. The link between ecosystem services and human well-being is very strong, and the status of the old ecosystem services is declining rapidly. All these red side is declining, and the green are enhanced, and there is some mixed outcome in the middle. This is the outcome from Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. And land use and land cover change can potentially impact the ecosystem's goods and services that we receive. This is an excellent example to show what the natural landscape will provide. So less food and fiber, but all other goods and services. And if we change this to food production, like agriculture production, then we get food and forage production, but we lose most of the public goods and services we talked earlier in the morning. And then if we manage the landscape for multiple environmental value, it's a diverse land use, and we can potentially enhance those goods and services. So my study area background has been already covered by Colin, so I'll skip this slide. This is mainly degraded landscapes, and since the European settlement, most of the native vegetation has been cleared, and key natural resource management issues are declining water quality and quantity, salinity, and biodiversity, and many more. So bold strategic and landscape scale initiatives are required to reverse the declining situation of ecosystem goods and services, and there are various market-based instruments are underway, such as bush tender, eco tender, and recently carbon farming initiative. So my study, this aim of this particular case study is identify and define the plausible future land use scenarios. I have identified 5 land use scenarios. I'll explain in the next slide. And identify and assess the key ecosystem services, carbon sequestration, agriculture production, water, biodiversity, and timber in study landscapes, and assess the projected changes and analyze trade-off and synergies. So this is the study landscape largely degraded from clearing of native vegetation and agriculture, as well as over allocation of irrigation water. So very low rainfall side. You know, the side of this landscapes covers 30,000 hectares, and some of the area is high conservation value Ramsar sites listed. So this this case study has 4 key steps. Collect various spatial and attribute data from wide variety of organizations, from government and non-government, and we developed 3 cost-based scenarios: optimistic, central, and conservative scenarios, and estimate the ecosystem value using readily available data and tools, and develop the 5 future land use scenarios, and identify the proposed land and land cover change under each scenarios, and assess the trade-off and synergies. So these are some of the methods and tools I used. Reforestation modeling tool available from carbon farming initiative, and some of the bush tender payments, and water use by various landscapes, and also I use 3PG model to estimate the timber production. So all the values were will bring to net present value using this equation. And these 5 key land use scenarios identified are business as usual. This is a current farming management system will continue with no significant change in land use and land cover in future. The another scenario use future farming landscape. This is basically Kilter's future farming landscapes of various environmental outcome. And another scenario we identified is ecocentric or environmental planting, the growing environmental concern and growth of environmental commodities. There will be significant invest on carbon or biodiversity plantings. So this scenario is identified as a plausible scenario. And agrocentric or food production scenario is high demand of food and livestock production due to continued population growth in Australia and globally. That's another scenario. And abandoned land use is land abandonment due to the depopulation in rural area and availability of labor force, and also significant uncertainty of agriculture production due to changing climate. So we ran the model using 3 different scenarios: conservative, optimistic, and central. Central is more realistic, and some optimistic. Use 5 different discount rate: 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10. So this is actually written from carbon using using $20 $20 per ton as a central, and $10 for conservative, and $30 for optimistic. Similarly, we added some environmental payments on top of carbon that's possibly available for environmental planting. So similar for this analysis, we use similar payments like a bush tender mechanism. If the is available roughly $450 per hectare in first 5 years, so this will increase the return. And similarly, we ran the scenario for timber plantation, and is largely negative due to low productivity in my study area. So this is when we sum up all the number and figures and the area, this is overall scenario came with different land use scenarios. So business as usual, the red arrow shows the declining situation, and green are increasing situation. Equally, it's just more or less same. So business as usual is most of the goods and services are declining, and future farming looks more optimistic, promising scenario. Ecocentric is good for other services, but there will be less production of food required for human consumption. But agrocentric will give that food production, but declining other goods and services, and land abandonment is not good at all. So in conclusion, against any realistic investment criteria, return from carbon alone may not be commercially attractive in my study region, and additional payment via Victorian government's market-based instruments or other payment mechanism can make some of the scenario attractive, but they are not close to return from agriculture. And planting timber alone is not commercially attractive in this landscape. And business as usual and abandoned land use are not sustainable solution for the future. And abandoned land use potentially threaten the native biodiversity and produce ecosystem disservices due to potential growth of weeds and pest animals. Agrocentric is commercially attractive at this stage, but we don't know what happen in future due to declining rural population, volatile commodity market, and climate variability. And future farming landscape and ecocentric two scenario produce a better environmental outcome. However, ecocentric ecocentric is not commercially attractive due to harass environmental condition and associated low carbon and timber productivity. So in conclusion, supplemental payment mechanisms through the market-based instrument is required to reverse the declining natural situation and reverse the fragmented natural capital. There are various organizations and people supported this work. These are there.